Hi, welcome to Mindful Chatting. I want to ask you something today. When was the last time you truly rested? Not scrolled, not folded laundry while you were watching TV, not answering emails while you were on the couch, and not listening to a podcast while you were cleaning. I mean, rested. Like no agenda, no productivity, no multitasking, just stopped. And if the thought of doing that makes you feel super uncomfortable, well, this episode is for you because I think there's a lot of people walking around believing that they have a rest problem when they actually have a safety problem. And we're going to unpack this together.
Welcome to Mindful Chatting, a podcast where therapy meets real life. I'm Kristen, a therapist, business owner, and a lifelong student of what it means to fully show up in our relationships, in our work, and in our healing. Here, we unpacked mental health concepts, explore mindfulness tools, and talk through the messy, beautiful, in-between moments that shape us. Whether you're a fellow clinician, a curious listener, or someone navigating your own growth, this space is for you. Let's chat.
Have you ever noticed what happens when things finally slow down for you? When you're done working and maybe the kids are asleep and the house is super quiet, the to-do list is maybe temporarily done, and instead of feeling relaxed, you may feel restless, maybe even anxious, guilty, irritated, maybe like you should be doing something, anything. That's the moment I want to talk about today because that reaction is a lot of information and we're going to unpack that. Because let's be honest, busy has become this status symbol for us. People wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. I'm so busy, or I've been running nonstop, or I don't even have time to think. And somehow we've confused that being busy with being valuable, being productive with being really worthy, and being exhausted as being really successful. But the problem with tying your worth to productivity is that rest starts to feel like you failed or that you are failure. This is where we're going to get a little bit deeper. For many people, slowing down isn't uncomfortable because they're lazy. It's uncomfortable because their nervous system learned that being alert was safer than being relaxed. Think about it, especially if you grew up in chaotic situations or an environment, you learned to scan your environment. You grew up walking maybe on some eggshells. Well, you learned to anticipate things. If you grew up taking care of everyone else and their emotions, you learned to stay busy. Your body adapted to that. And those adaptations don't magically disappear because now you're an adult and everything's maybe okay and safe now. Your nervous system is remembering all of those things.
If you want to understand your ADHD in a deeper way, I've created the ADHD Crash Course, and it walks you through ADHD step by step so that you can actually start understanding your brain and not shaming it. Everything's in small, doable lessons designed for your ADHD in mind. The link is in the show notes.
I have a really big struggle with rest. And because I grew up in a chaotic environment when I was a child, it took a long time for me to realize that nighttime and maybe resting and relaxation was when a lot of the chaos happened for me. So when I go to bed at night and I choose to relax and build that routine for myself, which I'm still working really hard on, I tend to notice that I'm anxious, restless, like I should be getting up and doing something. But I've learned that that's my nervous system anticipating the chaos that was about to happen. And that's even when I was a child. That's over 20 years ago. And yet my nervous system still remembers. It doesn't remember all of the times where I was safe or that now I'm okay or now I'm in the house that I choose to be in. It remembers the things where I didn't have time to process, or maybe as a child, I didn't know how to articulate that in a language. And now my nervous system remembers and believes that, oh no, if things are quiet, then that means something bad is going to happen. This is where slowing down can feel really uncomfortable for you. And your identity became tied to being productive because that's what made you feel safe. And I want you to resonate and understand and maybe reflect that maybe those calm moments are actually your body and your nervous system remembering something. Some people don't stay busy because they love productivity. They stay busy because busyness helps them avoid discomfort. If you keep moving, I don't have to feel. If I keep planning for something, then I don't have to sit with the uncertainty or the feeling that I feel out of control. If I keep working, I don't have to notice really how tired I am. Busyness becomes a coping strategy, not a schedule for you. You aren't tied and addicted to productivity. You may be addicted to avoiding, which shows up when you actually stop being productive.
Okay, quick pause. Because you've ever found yourself rewinding this episode like 3 times because your brain just drifted, this is for you. I hear this all the time. I can focus, just not when I actually need to. And that's exactly what the focus course is about. Because here's the truth. ADHD isn't a lack of attention, it's a regulation issue, which is why some days you're locked in for hours and other days you're rereading the same sentence, wondering what just happened. So inside my executive functioning focus course, I break this down in a way that actually makes sense for you. We go through how your attention works in your brain, your specific focus patterns, why you get distracted externally and internally, and how to actually build a system that helps you stay on track and come back when you drift. Because the goal isn't perfect focus, it's knowing how to return without spiraling. So if you're tired of blaming yourself and you just want something that actually works with your brain, I'll link the focus course in the show notes. All right, let's get back to this episode.
Now let's talk about why rest may feel unsafe. Rest requires a lot of vulnerability because when you stop, thoughts show up, feelings show up, grief may show up, loneliness, fear. And if you've spent years outrunning all of these things, stillness can actually feel very threatening to you, not peaceful. But let's redefine rest. Rest isn't laziness. Rest isn't doing nothing forever. Rest is about recovery. It's creating enough space for your mind and body to recalibrate. Without recovery, everything becomes so much harder for you. Your focus, your patience, your relationships, planning, and even your decision making. This is where I want to tie back to what we were talking about in this past episodes these months, because most people create plans that only include the output. We're talking about work and tasks and responsibilities and deadlines, but sustainable planning actually looks like a lot like recovery, buffer time, pausing, reflecting, because you're not a machine, you're a human, and plans that ignore recovery eventually will break.
If you're listening to this and thinking, this is exactly what I struggle with, I want you to know that I built something specifically for you. The EF, or Executive Functioning Activation course, walks you through why task initiation feels so hard with your ADHD and how to actually get yourself moving without shame, pressure, or burnout. It's short, practical, and designed for ADHD brains, not productivity culture. If starting is your biggest barrier, this course gives you structure, language, and tools that actually work for you. You'll find the link in the show notes.
I want to give this episode time for you to have permission to pause. And I'm going to give you some steps on how to do that. The first step is I just want you to notice where you're uncomfortable. Where is the discomfort happening in your body when you actually stop and rest? Where is it coming from? What are the urges and compulsions doing? The next step I want you to think about is I want you to become curious. Why do I feel this in my body? Where is this coming from? What time of the day when I do rest that may be bringing this restlessness? What kind of thoughts and emotions pop up for me when I think about this discomfort? Step 3, I want you to ask, what am I afraid will happen if I actually stop? Now, this is a big one because this question has a loaded thing in it of like, usually when I say that question to myself, I'm like, well, nothing's going to happen if I stop. But there might be some other things lingering around that you're not aware of, which could be, well, it won't get done, or I won't have all these things finished by the time that I'm supposed to, or maybe when I stop and rest, I won't have the motivation and the energy to get back up and keep going. Step 4, I want you to practice these small pauses throughout the day. Don't want you to do whole days. I just want you to do like 5 minutes and then build it up to 10 minutes. And it could also be you moving around and doing something. It could be a walk. It could be you just sitting still or being quiet with coffee. I just want you to create intentional stillness and practice doing that in the day while also reminding yourself that you're safe. One of the things that I don't think we do enough is that we need to tell our nervous system by reconditioning it that what we're doing is safe. Step 5 is reminding yourself that rest is maintenance, not a reward. I think we've been taught, especially as children, that if I get all my chores done, then I can have fun. Well, guess what? Rest is not about fun. Rest is about recovery. How do I recover so that I can get up and keep going? Or how do I recover so that I don't burn out? Rewards are about having fun, setting intentional time to do things that are enjoyable. Rest is not one of those things. Rest is about maintenance. If rest feels really uncomfortable for you, it doesn't automatically mean that you're doing it wrong. It might mean you're encountering something really unfamiliar, because for some people, stillness isn't peaceful, it's unfamiliar. And maybe the goal isn't to become better at doing more. Maybe the goal is learning how to feel safe when you're doing less. I want to thank you for joining me. And as always, be gentle with your mind.
One more thing before you go, and this helps me personally, staying present and grounded, which we all need, especially when your brain wants to spiral into disconnection. Me too. It's Brain FM. It's musically designed to help ADHD brains, well, really anyone's brain, focus, relax, or sleep, and I use it almost daily. If you want to try it, I've dropped my link in the show notes. And if you're looking for planning tools or ADHD-friendly resources, I'll keep a list of my favorite links in every episode.